Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin for storing, retrieving, deleting and updating data in KeyChain for Godot game engine. Now if you don't know what KeyChain is, it is basically used for storing sensitive data, so we don't have to worry about security encrypting, those kind of thing. So yeah, and don't store large amount of data in KeyChain. Basically it is used to store users password or some sensitive data for your app. So let's see how to do this. So as usual, creating an iOS plugin requires a macOS. So first thing that you will need, and you will also need to install Python, and next you will need Xcode, which you can download from Apple App Store, and you need scones. To download scones you will require homebrew, and then you can just run this particular command, brew install scones. It is, I think, used for generating iOS headers. Okay, so once you are done with this particular command, then what you can do is create any folder. I have named it as workspace. Now ignore this particular folder, but I'll be copying a lot of code from my previous tutorial because there is a lot of boilerplate while creating iOS plugin, but I will show you what exactly you need to change. So create any folder, give it whatever name you like. I have given it as my workspace. Inside that you will have to create a folder called plugin. Now make sure from now on you follow what I am doing. So I have created a folder called plugin. Okay, then inside that you will have to clone the Godot game engine source code inside the plugin folder. So for that you will require git, and then you will have to open your terminal, cd to your plugin folder, and just run this particular command. I am using Godot 4.2 at the time of this recording. If you are using some higher version, make sure you change that particular branch version, so that you use whatever Godot engine has been, whatever version of Godot engine you are using. So yeah, just run this command. I already have that, so I'll just copy paste this from my previous tutorial and paste it over here. Now this git clone will take little bit of time, so be patient. Once that is done, you will have to again go to your terminal and cd to the Godot folder which you have just cloned, and then you will have to run this particular command inside your terminal. So this will generate the iOS headers for you. This again will take a lot of time, so I have already done this as well. So you will have to run this particular command, so be patient. Once that is also done, open Xcode, and here click on create new project. Here you will have to select iOS static library, click next, and here you will have to give your some product name. So what should I give it name? Something like, I don't know, like I don't want to give it a name as KeyChain because that might conflict with an existing name. That's why I am being careful about that. What other name can I give? I don't know. I'll just give it a storage, data storage, I guess. Storage is fine for me, but I think you can give a better name. Once you give it some name, make sure you select your team as well. I'll select my team later, and in language you will have to select Objective-C, and then you will have to click on next. Now after you click on next, you will again have to select, go to your my workspace plugin folder, and inside that you will have to create your static library. Okay, once you are done with that, you will have to go to your project, and here you can select your iOS deployment target. It is basically like from what version of iOS you want to support your static library from. So I will just select it from 16. So 16 to whatever is the latest version of iOS, I will support that particular iOS versions. Now I will go over here. I'll just open the few files which I would need, arithmetic and this one, because we will be copying lot of code from this particular files. So first we need to create an header file. So what I'll do is I'll just rename this as, I'll just right click a new header file, and here I'll just name it as storage underscore module. Okay, storage underscore module, click create. So header file is done. Similarly, I will create an objective-c file as well, and click next, click create. I will change the extension to .mm, so it is objective-c++. Similarly, for this file as well, I'll change the extension to .mm, which is objective-c++. Then I'll just copy paste this code. So this should be inside the module header file. So I'll just paste it over here, and here instead of arithmetic I need to replace it with storage over here as well, and over here as well, over here and over here. Once that is done, we'll have to go to the objective-c file. Again, this is all boilerplate code, don't worry about it, you don't really have to understand it. So I'll just paste it over here. Again, I'll just take this, and here instead of arithmetic, just name it as storage, but S capital. Okay, then here also storage, then here as well S capital, storage, S capital, storage, change this name as well. Okay, so I think that's looking good. Then we'll have to go to the header file. Again, I'll just copy paste it. I'll remove this code, I'll paste it over here, and firstly I'll again change the name. So here everything is capital, storage. I'll just copy this, I'll paste it over here, then I'll copy this, and here we'll have to paste capital storage, right? So S should be capital. Same thing over here, same thing over here, same thing over here, same thing over here, this. Okay, now here as you can see I have defined 4 methods, one for saving data, one for getting data, one for deleting the data, and one for updating the data. So this will help us to so you have to define these 4 methods so we can implement those 4 methods inside our objective-c++ file as well. So that's what I have done over here. Then I'll go to this particular file, I'll just again copy paste it. I'll go over here and paste it over here. So first, okay, we don't need this, I'll just remove this, and I'll copy paste this, paste it over here. And then we require storage. Okay, S should be capital, then over here as well, and this is just a log statement, so it doesn't really matter case, but anyways I'll just make it as small as well. So this over here, then over here again as small, and over here as well, this one. And here as you can see inside bind methods I have registered 2 signal, one called get result, one for get message. Both of them will return data type of string. I'm not really sure what this result and message is, but given that I'm using result over here, I have used the same thing over here. Similarly for get message as well, because that's what the template which I follow had. I'm not really sure what this is, but anyways this is the name of our signal, and it will return data type of type string. Now this get result will help us to get the result from the get data method, but this get message will send a message every time in case there is some error while doing any keychain operation. So that's why I have defined 2 signal, but if you are okay with just 1 signal, you go with just 1 signal. You can define many more signals as well, so completely depends on you. Now here as you can see I have defined 4 methods: save data, get data, delete data, and update data. Same name what we had over here as well, what we had inside the header file. So I'll just rename this as well, storage. Then here we have to define a one service name. So this service name should be unique. Mostly it is the bundle identifier for your app. If you want, you can send it from the Godot side as well, just like I'm sending this particular string from the Godot side, which will actually store the data. But here I have just hard coded the service name because mostly it would be constant. So use a unique name for this. So I'll just name it as my awesome Godot game 2. Okay, because I already have a keychain with my awesome Godot game. For when I previously recording this video, I did some practice, so I know that I already have this keychain, so I have named it as 2, but you can name it whatever you feel like. Then here I'll name it as storage. I'll come back to the explanation. Even I don't understand the explanation much of it. I have just copy pasted this code from online. Okay, and here we don't need all this. Let me just check if I have missed any instance of arithmetic or not. Okay, no, so everything has been replaced. So coming back to the implementations, for save data we will get some string value from Godot side. We are converting it to ns string firstly. Then here I have defined one variable for ns error. Then this is the code for saving data. So here we are basically passing our data. As you can see, if there is any error, I am sending a signal back, okay, error encoding data. But if not, then this is again boilerplate code related to keychain, which I'm not really sure. Here we are passing our service as well as the data to save, which we have over here, and we are checking the status. If it is not equal to success, then again we are sending an error message. Otherwise we are sending a message saying that successfully saved to keychain. Now for getting the data, again we need to pass the service name. Rest, again I'm not really sure what this whole thing is, but basically if it is successful, then we are doing some kind of a bridge transfer. We are trying to retrieve the data basically. If there is any error, again I am sending a signal of error. If not, then I'm here, as you can see, I'm calling get result and converting the data to UTF-8 string and sending it back to Godot side. And otherwise again the error message. For deleting the data, same thing, we need to pass our service, and this is how we are trying to delete the data with sec item delete. And in case if there is any error, I'm sending the error message back. Otherwise deleted from keychain message back. And for updating the data, we first have to delete the data which is present, and then we have to call save data. If you don't delete the data, directly try to save data, you will fail, you will get error message. So that's what has been done. Then you have to go to storage, go to targets, go to build settings, search for header search path over here, and then I'll go to my Godot source code. Then you will have to go to platform, iOS, and here I can select any of the file inside iOS. Just click on get info so that you can get the actual path. I'll copy that particular path, and here I will just paste that particular. I'll click on the plus button, paste the path, hit enter, done. Next, let's see what we have to do. So I'll just close the other files. So we are done with this, we are done with this. Okay, then we have to close Xcode completely. So I'll just click on quit, and okay, then again come back to your project, like your files app, and here what we'll have to do is click on storage, click on just single click on Xcode proj, and you will have to drag this out of here. Then you will have to click on storage, select all of these files, drag them one layer like previous, and here you will get an empty storage folder. Just delete it. Now this is the structure which Godot requires. I'm not really sure why, but yeah, that's what I have followed. Then okay, we are done with this. So in plugin we have to create arithmetic.gdip. So I already have this particular file from my previous tutorial. I'll just paste it inside the plugin folder, but here we'll have to rename it to storage. Okay, and I will open this file. So firstly, we don't require this permission. This is for my previous older videos, and here I don't require UIKit framework or vision framework, all this kind of stuff. I'll just remove that, and instead of arithmetic I'll just write storage. Here also I will write storage S, and here instead of arithmetic I'll write storage, and here instead of arithmetic I'll write storage. I'll save it. So this is how your .gdip file looks like. Okay, so we are done with this. Then we have to create this S construct file. So if you want a template, you can just visit this URL for a template, because this file would be very long, but I already have a copy of this as well. So I'll just copy this, paste it inside our plugin folder. Again, I'll open this particular file, and here I'll search for arithmetic. So instead of arithmetic I will have to write storage. So I'll have to write storage over here, and I'll again search for it. Okay, we don't need this. This was just part of my debugging. I'll remove this as well. Then here we'll have to replace storage. We'll have to replace it with storage, and over here as well, and over here as well, we don't need this. Okay, so everything has been removed. One more important thing which I want to tell you guys is, if you remember, we have changed the iOS deployment target to iOS 16 inside your static library. Make sure you use the same version over here as well, over here, and over here as well. Otherwise this will cause a lot of confusion when you generate the .a library. So I try to keep the version same. So our S construct file is also done. Okay, then we'll have to create a bin folder inside plugin. So I'll quickly create that bin folder. Okay, and also over here inside my workspace, now this I'll just create one folder called my awesome iOS. So inside this particular folder I will export my project from Godot. So it will create an Xcode project for you. This is in the later part of the video, but I'll create the folder now. You can create this folder wherever you like. It doesn't has to be inside this particular folder itself. Create this folder wherever you like. So once the bin folder is created, we'll have to run this particular command, but instead of arithmetic we'll have to replace it with storage. So I'll open my terminal, and I will cd to the plugin folder. Okay, I'll run this command, but instead of arithmetic I'll have to replace it with storage. I'll run this command, and once the command is successful, so as you can see it was done successfully, it creates a .a library for you. So it has created this .a library for me. Okay, then I will quickly create a Godot project and get back to you. So just open your Godot engine and create a Godot project. You can save it wherever you feel like. Okay, so as you can see I have created my Godot project just outside the plugin folder, but yeah, you can create it wherever you feel like. Just create it outside wherever you feel like, outside the plugin folder. Don't mix it with the plugin folder, otherwise again it will cause unnecessary issues. Then here inside our Godot project we have to create a folder called iOS. So I'll go to my Godot project, create a folder called iOS. Inside that we have to create a folder called plugins with an S. So I'll just create that as well. Next we have to copy the .gdip and .a file inside this plugins folder. So I'll go back to my plugin folder, and here I will copy the .gdip file, go back to iOS plugins, paste it over here. Again go back to my plugin folder, go to bin, I'll copy this file as well, go back to my Godot game project, iOS plugins, paste it over here, and here you will have to replace this particular name with storage.a. so storage.a. Once that is done, you will need to find your app store team ID. For that you can go to this particular URL to know how to find your app store team ID. Once you find it, just go to project, export, add iOS, click on fix import. Here you can enter your app store team ID, and here you can enter your bundle identifier. So I'll just enter com.my awesome Godot app. If you want, you can keep the same name as what we have defined it inside the service for static library, depends on you. And here you can see inside plugins we are able to see storage as well, so I'll quickly click that checkbox as well. Now I will enter my app store team ID and come back. Okay, so I have entered my app store team ID and I have closed that particular window. Then inside my UI I have just taken 3 buttons, one delete, update and save me, and I have taken 2 labels, one for displaying the keychain data and one for displaying if any error message as such. Then I have attached one script to it as well. So here you can see we are taking reference of 2 of our labels, as well as I have attached button pressed click as well, event. Then if you see here, we are first defining our variable, then we are checking if we have plugin called storage or not. If yes, then we are initializing it, as well as we are connecting our signal. You will have to use the same name what you have used it inside your static library, and for that I have created this methods as well. So once you get the data, for get result I am updating label 1, and for get message I am updating label 2, and for button pressed click, so this is for update button, so I'm updating the data, so I'm passing this updated value inside our keychain which will be stored, and then I'm getting the data. And for second button click I'm deleting the data and getting the data, and for third button click I'm saving the data, so passing some value and then getting it. Now just to let you know that suppose if you have clicked on button click, you saved the data, you got the data back. If you try to click on button 3 again, you will the operation will not succeed because you have already saved the data. Then you will have to use this update data in case if you want to update the data. So be careful with that while testing your output. All right, so I think that's done. So let's go back to our this. So we are done with this, we are done with this. Okay, then all we have to do is export our project. Okay, I'm back to this particular export window, and all we have to do is that click on export project, and just select your directory where you want to save it. I'll just select this one which I had created an empty folder for. It's better you create a separate empty folder because this will create lot of files. So I'll just click on save. Now this will take little bit of time, so once the export is done, again I'll come back. Sorry, one step which I forgot before exporting is that you will have to run your project because we need to create an entry scene, right? So for that I'll just click on select current. So this is my entry scene. Yeah, that's done. I'll again close back, and now you can again follow that export procedure which I just show you. Okay, so the export has been completed for me, so you should see something like this. Once the export is done, you can go to your folder where your export is done and just double click on this xcode proj file, and it will open xcode for you. Once xcode is open, you can go to targets, go to sign in and capabilities. Here you will have to select your team. Now here you will have to select the same team for which you have entered the app store team ID inside your Godot game engine. Also, after selecting your team, if you still face some issue, make sure you just uncheck this checkbox and check it again and select your team again. That most probably will resolve your issue. So I'll quickly do that and run my app on my iPad. Make sure you run it on iPhone or iPad. On a real iPhone and iPad, don't run it on simulator. It causes lot of issues and I couldn't really figure it out. So yeah, that's what I will do and come back. Okay, so I'll quickly run my application. The build is successful. This is my iPad, and sometimes on the very first try this splash screen does take a lot of time and Xcode might throw an error for you. If it does, make sure you rerun your application, and here you can see all the 3 buttons. Now I will click on save me, and here you can see message is successfully saved to keychain and the data is super secret value, because that's what I was sending, right? What if I click on save me again? Here you can see the message has changed to error saving to keychain, because I can't really do that. What if I click on update me? Here you can see the data has been updated, successfully saved to keychain, data is not super secret value. And if I click on delete me, here you can see error reading from keychain, because after deleting it I'm again trying to read it, right? This is of update me button click, so ignore that for now. But the actual message which I got, that there was no data, that's why there was error reading from keychain. If I click on save me again, here you can see now I was able to save it because there was no data in keychain. So yeah, that's how these things work. Thank you for watching. Bye.